Yes, this is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. It is yet another Wednesday night when we come right into your home, through your television, through your phone, through your computer, whatever gadget you are using, we come to you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And we bring to you this program of Open Talk. And in Open Talk, you talk or I talk, or we hear one another and we move on to the glory of God. Remember, Open Talk is founded on the Word of God. That is the foundation of Open Talk. So whatever we do is founded on the Word of God. And we bring in different guests to just educate us, to give us information, to give us our direction, to give us correction, to give us their story. And as we listen to their stories, we receive the nuggets of gold from their lives, because everybody is important and everybody has a story. And your story is of benefit to somebody else. So don't just sit there with your story. Bring it out. It will be of benefit to somebody else. And tonight, as I welcome you, I want to say to you, we have a wonderful couple with us. We have a wonderful couple with us. This is Mr. and Mrs. Boniface Chege. Mr. and Mrs. Boniface Chege are with us. They're members at the House of Bread, and Boniface is an entrepreneur here in Nairobi, and Caro gives him 100% support, as she also takes care of the family and just being a blessing to the family. And we really thank God. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Open Talk program. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Boniface, unaweza kusalimia watu viewers?
Yeah. Good evening, viewers. We are delighted this evening, and we bless the Lord for this great opportunity that you have been offered by our great father, Bishop Makariuki. We really bless the name of the Lord for this great opportunity. Karibuni sana. We shall enjoy.
Thank you so very much. Now, do I call you Caro, Mama Precious, or Mrs. Boniface? Yeah, all of them are yours. All of them are yours. Sure. So would you like to greet our viewers?
Yes. Good evening, viewers. I'm Mrs. Boniface Chege, or well known as Mama Precious. I create cerebral palsy awareness because of Precious. We thank God for this opportunity, coming to do this open talk with our Bishop Makariuki. We appreciate this moment. We thank God for it. Welcome.
Thank you so very much. So my viewers, you are in for a great time as we pass the evening with this wonderful couple and their baby, and just send in a comment and tell us what you are receiving. Send us a word, and your life will never be the same again. Thank you so very much. Okay, now let's go. Let me ask you, Chege, who is Chege? Who is Chege?
Well, thank you once again, Bishop. Before I even say who I am, let me once again emphasize that I'm really grateful for having you as my spiritual father. You are a great blessing to me and my family. Since we came, when I get connected to you at way back in 2005 at Aga Khan, when you came from Nakuru. Mm-hmm. And since then, we have worked together. You are really a blessing, and you are a great father, not only to us, even to this nation and to other nations. So I wanted to make that clear. So I'm very grateful. Boniface Chege was born in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And you know, during those days, most often people are born in villages. So I was born in a place called Mutara. Mm-hmm. Mutara is somewhere between Rumuruti and Nanyuki, mm-hmm. on the old road. Mm-hmm. Then in a place called Mutara, it was a village, or Hoyt settlers. Near Hoyt settlers, my shosho used to tell me he was called Kari. And I don't know the meaning of the Kari, because we know for us, we have a tendency maybe of twisting the names. Twisting
so
the names.
Carl,
Kare, So I don't have the real practical word of the nini, but that's where I was born. And when I was born, as I've been told, in fact, this came recently, Bishop. When I was born, when I went home 2 months, I was told I stayed like a month, not have been given a name, because my dad had not come to give me the name. And when people came, as usual, to see this boy that has been born to Nancy Muthoni, people started saying, give this kid the name Kenyatta. So that's what I was called Kenyatta. I tried to think you because of the first president. So I was being named after him. And but I didn't pick up, because when Dad came, he came and said I should be called Boniface Chege.
Okay.
And that's how my name now is stuck from that day to this day.
Okay.
So that's why I was brought up in that village. And then after some times, Dad took us. He used to be a policeman.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been brought up in police line for quite many years. So he took us to Garenyiro. Police post or police station then.
Let's hold it there. Let's go to Mama Precious.
Thank you.
Who is Mama Precious?
Mama Precious is a wife to Mr. Boniface Chege. I was born in Nakuru, a place called Kiamunyi. Yeah, but when I was around 2 years, we shifted from Kiamunyi now, went to a place called Menengai West, but it's called Ororongai. That is neighboring Kabarak. You know Kabarak? The shambas that just immediately after Kabarak. Actually, it's opposite Kabarak. Yeah, those shambas there. That's where we grew up, and it's where I schooled until all my schooling. I did it there. Yeah, in our family, my mommy is called Mama Kinuthia. Okay. We were born 6 kids. I happen to be the fifth. Yeah, the fifth born. Yeah. I happen to have one brother only. He's called George. The rest we are girls. Okay. Yeah. By the time I was being born, our firstborn was already married, and she had a baby, a girl who is even older than me. Wow. Yeah. And then George, and then the sister that I used to follow, she went to be with the Lord in the year 2000, and so we were left 5 of us. So it is the firstborn, George, me, and then we have some twins. Behind me, I have twin sisters, Joyce and Grace. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So I've grown up in Nakuru. Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Yes.
So your dad was not a police officer?
No. He wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Chege, you have grown up in the police lines.
Yeah.
How was life in the police lines?
Well, it was, I would say, the life was good, but a bit challenging, because, my dad most of the time was in patrols, when he was quite busy. Yeah, so most of the time he was not around home. But I grew well, so to speak. But another thing that I would mention maybe is the life then of policemen. Because by then my dad used to put kaptula. Yeah. And there was some inspection that used to happen. So the house had to be very neat and well kept. So that was what my mom used to do.
Oh, so they would come and inspect the house?
The houses, yeah. Oh. So the bed, they had to, even the bedrooms, the shoes, everything they had to inspect. And you are accorded some points, the way you have, even the shoes, how you have polished them, how you have kept the gun, even washing and, and such things. They used even to monitor how you are washing the gun. Practically during those visits, and I also made part of the cleaning. So I was also taught how to clean the gun by my dad, and to polish the shoes shoes were being polished to an extent that you could even check yourself as a mirror. There are those red napkins that you put your breath, then you polish them. It was good, actually. It was good. It was good. It was really good.
I'm looking at your shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
And in Kiamunyi or Rongai, there's a farming place. It's a farming place.
Yeah.
So what did you get involved in farming? Or?
Yeah. Okay, now, the time that we moved from Kiamunyi, we went to Rongai now. Okay, unfortunately, around that time, my parents separated, my mommy and my dad. So they separated. So as we went with mom, being that family of 5 kids, so we started life there. And then it happened that there was a family friend who had already relocated to that place. So they invited my mommy. So mommy went, she spied the place. She saw it was good for us. And then they accommodated us with a house and now to go there and start the life there. So it happened, we moved in to that family. I don't know, my daddy, when we used to live in Kiamunyi, he used to work somewhere. So he would come on weekends. So this time when we separated and as we went, I think he was left in the house, and later on, we stayed for some years without seeing him. So as we went there, we started life with mom and my siblings, and their mom could do some farming. Thank God that place there are big shambas, so that family could, what they did, they divided the shamba for us. They give us a portion. You know, these good friends that you stick together in time of needs, you are together. Yeah, that family is like that. Until now, we're still in, we communicate. Yeah, so, but some years back, those parents went home to be with the Lord, but the kids are there. We are still great friends. So as we went there, we started life. By that time, I had started schooling. Even my younger sisters, our twins, they are younger than me. So I was the one who was taking care of them. So mommy would go look for some works to do before I joined school. So I would stay at home, take care of the babies. Mommy would also do the farming, so as we could get our income, our daily bread, and life was like that. It wasn't easy at all, you know, being such a family. And then, but thank God we are not paying the rent, the house that we were given. So mommy, what she was doing is looking for, you know, our basic things. But as time went by, through doing the farming, mommy would sell the farm products, and then finally she acquired her own land. Now where we moved, we built our home there, and we started life. Yeah, so there I joined school, and life was better. My mom got a job somewhere. She was employed as a farm manager somewhere. Like that family was blessed. So mom was the one who was overseeing the farmers, you know, the workers. Yeah, checking everything, how it's going. Yeah, like she was the manager, and life was better. Yeah.
Wow. And Chege, where did you go to school?
I schooled. My schooling started when Dad shifted from Garenyiro. He was sent all the way to Roktang, to Rukana. So as usual, we had to shift with him all the way to Rukana. So that's where I started school. And Bishop, it was not easy because by then even going to Roktang those days was a bit tough. The roads were not made by then. They were very bad, and the insecurity was very high then. The shift, as you know, and what have you. So, but I went there. So that's why I started the school. But a big number was Turukana, the people who hails from that part. So as time went by, I had to run Turukana. Jogonoi. So I ran quite. When I used to talk frequent Turkana and a bit of Kiborana, because there are also quite a number around there, policemen and workers around there. So, but Turkana was very fluent, so we schooled there. I schooled there from nursery. As I was told, I went nursery for 2 days. Then the teacher said, sharp, I should go to the next class. Used to do something like this. Once you touch your ears, So, but practically, the teacher said I should not be in nursery. So I was taken to standard 1. So I schooled in Roktang Primary School from standard 1 to standard 2. When we were just about to go to standard 3, then my dad was shifted from there to Nyeri. So he had to come all the way from there to Nyeri. Now that's where he comes from, around a place called Kiamuiro, Gatito. There. That's where we were brought. So mom said, now this issue of shifting now and then has come to an end. So take me to the farm. You proceed with your work. Let me settle now. So I joined Kiamuiro Primary School. And then you had to go back to standard 2. They didn't want to understand that I was supposed to go to the next class. So they declined, so I started standard 2 once again. And that's why I schooled up to standard 3 in Kiamuiro Primary School. And life was good then because there was not those kind of shifting now. We are a bit settled now. Mom was busy doing farms, coffee. We had the coffee. So mom was busy with the farm and tethering to the cows and everything was good now. And until a point, I don't know what could have conspired, some misunderstanding came. So my mom took me to Nyahururu, to my shosho's place. And then I went there and joined school called Muthega Primary, from standard 3 until standard 8 at Shosho's place. That's how I was taken. There was some misunderstanding, which I didn't understand what went wrong. But they separated. Okay. They did separate. So we went to Shosho's place, and that's why I schooled from class 3 to standard 8. That's why I did my KCP, and I did well. Then I went to GG Romuruti, secondly. I'd been called in Mwenje, but my cousin also from Nanyuki, called Kiago, who passed on, was called there. So mom said with my auntie, if these 2 boys goes to Mwenje, it will not come out well. So take Kiago there, and me, I take my son to Gigi. So that's why I schooled from Form 1 to Form 4 in Gigi, secondary school in Romuruti. Romuruti is a Kikuyu word, but it ordinarily is remote area. It's not Romuruti. Yeah.
So Romuruti is remote area?
It's remote area.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just like Freria.
Freria.
In Nakuru.
Yeah.
In Nakuru we have Freria, which is prairie.
Oh, prairie.
Now they call it free area.
Free area.
But it was not free area, it was prairie.
Yeah.
But for us it is free area. And life just continues.
And life goes on. Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, how did you guys meet? You are in Romuruti, you are in a different place. Yeah. So how did you guys meet?
Well, it's a journey of love. I used to fellowship at the Referral Church, JB Masinde. That's where I used to fellowship, and for quite some time until when you came. So there's a lady that used to reside in the same plot. She used to say, I want one of these days you come to our church and have a fellowship. So I asked her which is her church. She said it's Erim Pentecostal Church along Manyanja Road, 10 Estate there. So it took time before I could take the offer of going there. So, but when time came, one Sunday I went there. But she used to tell me she has a friend called Caro that she would like me to go and also meet. So that's how one Sunday I went, and after the service, they came outside. I waited for them. She came. This is Caro, And
at the same time, maybe if I can cut you there, I take over a little.
Yeah.
And I went to that church, Elim Pentecostal Church, and now the friend that we met through, she was a very good friend of mine. And she used to tell me, there's a young man in our court, and in our flat where I live, he's saved. He goes to the Deliverance Church at Bishop Masinde's place. He's called Boniface. I would want you to meet him one day. Mm-hmm. And her, on the other side, she still used to tell Boniface, I have a friend called Caro, and she's such a good friend. I would want you to meet her one day. So it was like she was acting in the midst of us as a bridge, but she didn't know. Yeah, because on one side she could tell Boniface, I have a friend called Caro, I want you to meet her. And on my side also, she could tell me, I have a friend called, okay, not really friend, but at least a guy that I know. He's called Boniface. He's very serious. Saved. I would want you to meet him one day. So that it happened that Sunday that she invited Boniface to church. So he came, and we were in praise and worship. We were very busy in church. In church, yeah. I was in praise and worship with our friend. She used to be called Pauline, by the way. So we would do the praise and worship. We would do the ushering. The church, it wasn't a very big church, so we really had some things to do, and we really loved serving. And so like for me, I used to do the announcement in church, like almost every Sunday. Yeah, so before we started the service, we would meet in a prayer room, we would pray, and then now we go and do our things. So that particular Sunday morning, she told me, by the way, you know the friend that I tell you called Boniface, he's coming today after the service. We'll meet him. So we were like, okay. So we did the service after the first service. So after the first service, it used to end early, around 10 something. And then we were like, where are we going? So we still used to do even the second service. So we were like, Boniface was coming for the second service. So we continued with the second service. So after the second service, she told me, now let's look for Boniface somewhere. Now after the service, we met outside. So Boniface is saying, like, oh, you are Boniface. Yeah, I have heard a lot about you. And he was like, oh, you are Caro. I've heard about you. It was good. At least finally, meeting. And so we had a meeting for the youth. So Boniface was like, can we meet in town? So he went to town now. He came to town. See, the church was in Tena. So as we finished our meeting, he told us where to meet him. So we finished the youth meeting. We came, we met him. And these were the years of crusades at Uhuru Park. Yeah. Bishop Moiro, Reverend Tesia Wairimo. So we came, we met him, and we proceeded to Uhuru Park for the crusade. I think it was for Moiro. Yeah. This is around the year 2003. Around that time. Yeah, exactly. Actually, come next year, October, it will be 20 years since we met like this. And we thank God because it happened that, we work as blessings to each other, sometimes without knowing. It happened that Pauline was our friend, but the Lord used her as a bridge for us to meet. Yeah. So that's how we met with my husband. It happened that we met the first time like this. It was that first crush, and until today. That's how it happened. Yeah, and we thank God. Wow.
It was quite fascinating because when I met her, for the first time, I felt some settlement in my heart. And within my conviction, I said, this is my wife to be. That's what I told my spirit that day. This is my wife to be. But I didn't display anything, I didn't mention anything, but I told my spirit, huyu huyu ndio bibi yangu. Pauline amefanya vyema kutushikanisha na nashukuru Mungu. But I also bought them lunch in town. There's a place used to be called Hornbill. So I bought them chips and chicken, and we bought some sodas. We carried to Uhuru Park. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how.
So after how long did you take before you got married after that?
Well, there's a twist of
a story.
There's a story somewhere. This family that she used to stay with, they are a great family. They reside in US up to date. So they were planning to go with her. So even took a passport to the US, a written student. So her passport was written student. So they wanted to go with her, and she got lost. We lost each other for like like a year or so. No contact. So I used to ask God, did I hear well about this lady that I met I should marry? And now she is nowhere to be seen, no contact, no nothing. So until then, it took almost a year.
It was like a year or so.
But
now the reason that I decided to withdraw, it was actually me, I did that, intentionally. Because you see, Pauline was a great friend of mine. We were close. And now, it happened that now after she knew that Boniface had interest in me and not her, you see, for her, she was seeing that now she was finding a husband. And the husband she was talking about, he didn't even have a thought of it. Yeah, so she really felt bad, actually. So she even told the family that I was living with, like, Caro is snatching away my boyfriend. And also for me, it was like, now since I met these two people as friends, and the introduction that they did both, I didn't see any connection. But I didn't want to be like, like really snatching him. So I really wanted to, and also, I was still in the plans of going to the US with that family. So I was there, seeing which is which. For him, he came to a point where he told me, "But Caro, I just want to marry you, nothing else. I just want if you marry, I want to marry." And me there now, I was like, should I go to the US or should I settle here? Even though, then I was in my early 20s. Yeah. So to me, I was still thinking of, even though I had an idea of like starting a family early, it's good. When you have your kids when you are still young, you still remain strong, even when you are old. I had that idea. So I was like, going or staying. But also, I love my husband, and I thank God for him. He's a godly man. And even what attracted me to him, even that first day when we met, you see, me, I didn't have an idea like I will marry him, but him, he had the conviction. So what I saw in him is a godly man. One of the prayers that I used to do when I was a youth is, God, I pray that you'll give me a godly man, a man who will love me just as I am, who will not, have some issues with me, no matter what, no matter my background, but someone who will take me as I am and will look ahead, not looking behind where I'm coming from. And it happened that Boniface, he has a big heart and a good heart. He's not a person who will tell you, you did this yesterday or what. No. He's like, today we are here, we are moving on. So, and even that part of godliness is also where it really attracted me. Like that time he could quote verses, we could sing, he could speak in tongues, and then you're like, what else do I want, And there's a man that you can see, this one is not pretending. This one, he has God's heart. He's not pretending. So I was like, okay. But now this story of Pauline, I said, let me buy time. Since still I was young and the competition was still high anyway. There's that age of prime, like this one is after this one. So you are looking, you are like, where does my heart lead, So I wasn't in a hurry. Now the reason that I didn't go to US, he had come to me, he had proposed, he told me, I want to marry you. And then he was very straight. That honesty of a man, also you feel it. And he had love. You know that where you see this is pure love. And he hadn't mentioned he's the only child of his parents.
Okay. Or you are an only child.
Okay. So also with that, he's like, I don't have a sister. I don't have a brother. You will be my wife, you will be my sister, you will be my brothers. As in you, I find all these people. Like you'll be a person of comfort, you'll mean a lot to me, And I bought it. I could feel it, and I just decided to marry him. So when what happened about the family that we were to go with, it happened that they went and they were to process for me the visa when they are there. So in the process of waiting, that's when I decided to get married. So we talked to them, we said, we were praying with them about going, whether it was God's will for me to go to join them there, or it was God's will for me to remain on this side. So we prayed about it, and then we found it was more of God's will for me to be on this side and for Bonnie's prayer to be answered for our wife.
Wow. Well, that's quite a story. So when did you get married?
Well, it was back in 2005.
2005.
2005, December 10th.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many children do you have?
We have 4 kids.
4 kids.
Yeah, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Precious?
Precious.
Hi, Precious.
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 Bishop is saying hi.
Yeah. Say hi.
Hi. That's how she responds. Yeah.
So is Precious the first child or?
No, Precious is the third born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
the third born. Our firstborn is turning 14 years this October.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a candidate. The firstborn is called Banaya. The secondborn is called Nancy. She's in class 7. The thirdborn is called Precious Blessing here. The lastborn is called Jaden Goodness.
Allah.
He's our lastborn kids.
At the moment.
Yeah, at the moment.
Not at the moment, forever.
It's sealed, eh?
It's sealed.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell us about Precious.
Okay, Precious.
Is a special needs kid.
She's a special needs kid.
Yeah.
Now what happened? Precious, okay, she's the third born. And it happened that she became a special needs kid, but it shouldn't be like this. She shouldn't be like this because the whole pregnancy was very okay until the last minute. When I went to labor, we did the scan. Just before I went to the river. Okay, what happened? I was admitted. We went. I thank God for my husband for the full support. We went with him. So usually what we do before the date of delivery, we go together to the hospital. What we've been doing, we go together. So I'm admitted. Like for this time, he had really proposed for that. So I went there. I rested like for 2 days. Because it also happened that she was big, so the pregnancy was heavy. I tell you, so I went. We requested for a scan. It was done. The baby was fine. Even over the other visits, the scan was showing everything was okay. The placenta, the amniotic fluid, everything was okay. The positioning of the baby was fine. But now what happened is just we got some negligence from the doctors when Precious was being born. So, there are those contractions. Just call them contractions that happens just before the baby is born, just for pushing the baby. So it was proceeding well until it got to a place where I just felt things were not going on well. But at least we have 2 other kids, the bigger ones. So this one, I just felt it wasn't okay. The way it was proceeding, and I could call the doctors. I could tell them, no, doctors, nasikia kuna kitu haiendelee vizuri, because this one was non-stop. Every woman who has ever labored, the pain, how it is. And at least the normal one, there are some periods of relaxing, and then it comes, it continues, as the baby is being pushed, towards the bag. But this one for Precious, it never had a break. It was those pains, labor pains, non-stop. So I could call the doctors, and thank God my husband was there. And also he could really, cry to the doctor, can you go please attend my wife? Just go and see what is happening. So the labor wasn't okay, because what had happened, the positioning of the baby, it wasn't coming out well, because Precious was big, and instead of them doing, okay, even the scan showed that Precious was big. She was born at 4.2 kgs. So what they would have done, they would have taken me for CS immediately. Yeah, according to the CS, even what I was told by other doctors later. Instead of letting me, going through the normal birth, when the baby is big. So, but for them, I would tell them like that, and then they'd say like, at least because umezaa watoto wengine, so huyu ni that born, kwa hivyo tu atatoka tu. Of which it never happened. So by the time they were taking me for an emergency CS, Precious she was tired already, and already she was lacking some oxygen in her brain. That what caused the condition that she's having is called cerebral palsy. It's severe cerebral palsy. Yeah, or asphyxia. That's what she suffered. Cause lacking the oxygen in the brain. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was very tough. But thank God we never lost her, or either myself, or both of us.
Yeah.
So we usually, at that moment, my husband called our people, our parents. He told them, Mama Precious is not, my wife is not in a good position. We are in the labor ward. Things are not going on well. Please pray. Keep us in prayers. And we thank God, because Usually doctors say, and also we see it would have been worse than how it is now. But it's not for God. God came through for us. Actually, we got to a place where we don't complain about Precious. We thank God for her. The fact that we have her. And in that hospital that day, some mothers, I saw them, some mothers lost babies. Through the negligence. The doctors, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate when you are with the right person, the person that who is supposed to help you acquire what you are supposed to, but that person decides otherwise. Like if they attended us well, Precious would be very fine, should be in school.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right now.
but it happened, they neglected us, and these are the results. Yeah, but we prayed with my husband. We decided just to forgive them. It was very hard, to accept that Precious has become a special baby and a negligence, especially where we were, we were communicating, we were telling them. I could call them, I could cry to them, please help me. It's not, this labor is not proceeding well. But them they were like, hey, mama wacha, in labor there are a lot. Hey, mama wacha, hey, gojea tu, that negligence. That's what caused this. Yeah, but we decided to forgive. It was very hard for us initially, especially when we would Google, we would see what is the asphyxia, the side effects, how the baby will grow. It was very heartbreaking until we decided to forget about the Google and focus with the God.
And the good thing.
Yeah, and the good thing.
Okay. So how old is she now?
No, she's 7. She's 7 years. Yeah, she's turned 7 on April. Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a big challenge for parents to raise a kid who has special needs. And at times, a lot of people don't understand. There are people who decide maybe to hide their kids. Did you go through those temptations?
Okay. Initially, it wasn't easy for me, especially now. When Precious was born, we didn't know exactly that the baby has a problem. They never told us. But what happened, because of that prolonged labor, Precious was put in an incubator for a week. And even me, I didn't get to see her that day. Yeah, but immediately when, CS is like, they remove the baby immediately. And, you are put in a position that you are not seeing the baby, like there's a lesson they put here. You are still talking to them. Then they are working on you from the other side. So the moment Precious was pulled out, I saw her and I looked aside because her face was already protruding. Because
it was bad.
You see, because of she was big, trying to come out and she couldn't come out. So she really had some injuries around her head. Her forehead had protruded.
Level.
I looked at her like this and I just looked aside.
It was bad.
It was heartbreaking. At that moment, it's yes, I'm there, they're working on me, it was very heartbreaking. And then at that moment, she couldn't breathe. But thank God, the hospital where she was born, by the time she was taken from theater to the nursery room, the Lord, he did a miracle. Along the way, the baby was able to breathe by herself because she was being rushed. Upstairs to be put some oxygen so that she could breathe. But the Lord helped, at least she breathed by herself. And then she couldn't also breastfeed because of what she had suffered. But mind you, they never told us your baby is like this, she have suffered this.
They withheld the information.
They really withheld all the information until much later. So when she was around 3 months, then, now after a week we were discharged, we went home. She was not breastfeeding, by herself. So what I used to do is express. We bought a machine, we bought for me when I was still in the hospital. I could express some milk, I could feed her, but then she was feeding through the tube. And now after a week we went home. At least now the Lord did a miracle there, at least after a week. And by the time we were being discharged, by the way, they had refused to discharge us because they were saying Precious. Actually, she could not breastfeed by herself. But I told them this baby can breastfeed because around this time, the other 2 kids, we hadn't had such a big separation from each other, and they were young. Nancy was 5 years, Banana was 7 years, and that separation. And by then we hadn't even gotten a house girl, so he was home with them. And they would call and they would cry, "Mommy, why are you not coming? Bring the baby." And then it happened that Precious is a baby that we had really waited for, all of us. And then it happened around that time, most of our friends were having babies. So even then they were like, even us, we want a baby. So every month how their pregnancy was was growing, they were happy, like how many months to go now, until the last day when I went, I think we went together. Yeah, the last day when I went to be admitted for her birth now. So they would really cry, even over the call. It was very stressful for us, for both of us. And at some point now, they asked, when are we seeing Precious? When are we seeing our baby? So it happened that my husband took a photo, our photos, me and Precious in hospital. And when he went home, he showed them. Now, Nancy was 5 years. Precious was, I think she was lighter than how she is now. Very light. So when Nancy saw their photos, she really cried. She said, now in Kikuyu, but the first 2 kids, we have really taught them Kikuyu. They speak fluent Kikuyu. Just say, let's try this in Nairobi and see if it will work. So Nancy said, "Guy, Mami na mudhogo." Like God, Mami has, she has gotten a muzungu. Like now my case is done. Because Mami has a muzungu, I'm no longer a baby. And I was told she really cried. And that name stuck up to date. Oh, because I'm Muzungu.
Call her Mudhogo.
Yeah, because I'm Mudhogo. And it wasn't. So I told the doctors that Precious can breastfeed. So as it is, they could release us. And I thank God. By the time we got home, I think I expressed milk only for 2 days. And then from there, the Lord did the miracle. She started breastfeeding by herself. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And how long did the forehead take, the swollen head?
It took like a day.
A day,
yeah. Usually it doesn't take long to go back to the normal size, but now what happens, it causes the brain damage. The brain are damaged, but the head itself here, you see it's okay. But the baby is, the brain were already damaged, and so when she was around 3 months, that's when we discovered that Precious is not growing normally. Yeah, she wasn't crying that much like a baby would do. While there's a newborn, usually there's a lot of noise, crying, But her, she could just sometimes keep quiet, and then we'd be, is the baby still? Just go see the baby. The baby is sleeping too much, like that. And at 3 months now, she started crying just from nowhere. Even if she was sleeping, deep asleep, and then all over she would just cry. She cried like that for like 2 days, and then we were like, no, this one, let's go back to the hospital where she was born. And because her milestones were late, so we went back to inquire about the milestones and the cause of that cry. That's when we met the chief pediatrician who had, who was attending her when she was in nursery. So we met him. He was called Dr. Kimani. So Dr. Kimani told us, Mama Precious, now your baby is a little different, but she'll be fine. So for us, we didn't take it that we never thought it was this serious. So those were his words. But then he said, I will introduce some drugs for Precious that will help her to be okay, that cry will stop. And as we were happy. So we were given some tablets for 2 weeks. But then we were told, after 2 weeks, when they are over, you come back again. So after the 2 weeks, so we were asked, how is the baby doing? We said, fine. At least she's not crying the way she was crying, but some things, like praying or what, she couldn't do. Her head, by 3 months at least, the neck control should be better, even if not full, but at least. Hers was was very bad still. So, but he couldn't tell us exactly that Precious is having CP. So, but what they said, now what you should do, you start some therapy. Yeah. So for us, we hadn't heard of anything like, that therapy. We didn't know. So they took us to the room. So we were told, here, what you do here is you remove the baby all the clothes. You ask us, so now, what do they want to do? He told her, don't be scared. The therapist said, don't be scared. Nothing, nothing much, but you see. So therapy is usually done with some oil. But then at the hospital, at least they had. So she was attended, the baby cried. Therapy is literally stretching of the muscles, using the oil, stretching, and usually it's very painful and very uncomfortable. And it's done like 40 minutes up to an hour there. So it was torturing. I remember that day my husband, he was there the first session, but he said, this one I can't stand it again. It was total torturing. And the patient could look to us like this. you know, like, are you, you know, like back in her mind is like she was saying, is this happening to me when you guys are seeing, you know? Yeah. It was bad, it was torturing for all of us. So we asked for how long is this going to, you know, to continue. So they said until she start, until when she'll be able to walk, you know, for herself. So we're like, how long will this take? They say, what you do, you don't ask for how long. You just keep bringing the baby. You'll be seeing the milestones. You see, like they don't tell you exactly what to expect. So that's why we started with the therapy sessions. Yeah, and I didn't mention. Also, I used to do some business before Precious was born. Yeah, around that time, we used to do some farming in Baringo for butternuts. Yeah, so my husband would travel to Baringo, and then when he went there, we found the place had a lot of honey. So every time he would go, he would come with a lot of honey until we had a lot of them in the house. So one evening we asked ourselves, this honey is so good, it's pure, what if we try to sell to people around? Yeah, so you are like, you go around and see if people, if they can buy. I sold to friends, through friends, and people would, you know, recommend to each other like that. And the business grew. It was very well. It was doing very good. Actually, it had like 100%, you know, profit. Yeah. It was good. Yeah, and people really loved it. Do you know, up to this, some people calls. But now, I had to stop the business. Now, when Precious was born, I stopped it when Precious was like a month to, you know, to her delivery because of the, you know, honey is heavy. You know, carrying the honey, yeah, it's heavy. You said
she was heavy.
Yeah. So I would pack like 5 kgs in bottles, and I would go and sell all of it, and then I would come back with some more orders. So it was doing very well. So when she was born, after 3 months, we decided I can go back and continue with the business. At least the clients, by that time, they knew we were expecting the baby. So they would call and ask, when are you coming back to the business? So I would tell them, give me like 3 months, I'll come back. So after the 3 months, I went back. And around that time now, we had decided to get at least a house girl so she could help. She couldn't help so much with Precious. You know, especially Precious being a special kid, I would leave her in the morning, like now going back to my business, I would leave the house around 11, go just do the deliveries and come back. I was amazed one day to find that the position where I left the baby, I came back and found her in the same position. And that thing moved to our hearts. Like, you know, okay, it's unfortunate. Some of the girls we employ, what they do is watch TV. Once we are not there, they forget their work, you know, especially Precious. You know, Precious around that time, you could put her in one position, and because of her situation, she can't change, as in she can't move around. You put her like this, even after how many hours, until someone comes and, you know, you change her position. She stay like that. So we saw that Precious was suffering, and we decided, let's do away with the business. My husband will take over everything. Though he was still doing, they were just, you know, helping. But we just decided, let me stay at home, take care of the babies, and at least we don't forsake Precious. Yeah, and so from there, that's when I stayed at home until now, you know, taking care of the Precious. And we thank God. It has not been easy, you know, even accepting, you know, the challenges. And the stigma, the challenges are many. You know, there are a lot. You know, even being accepted in the community. You know, you carrying a baby like this, you know, we call them differently abled. They are different. And people have different schools of thought. Some things, this is witchcraft. If you see someone with this kind of baby, this is witchcraft. Or some even says, I have like a friend of mine, how she was told when, you know, right on her face, you sold your baby to the devil. That's why your baby is like this. You know, that's why you are able to build them. At least they bought a land and they built. So she was told, this one, you sold your baby so as you can buy here and build. You know, it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't know that some of these conditions, like for Precious, especially for CP cases, they are pure negligence from the doctors, nothing more. Most of them. Yeah, like Precious. So, you know, conquering that, it is hard. Like for us, when we first knew now Precious is like this, and then she would cry, you know, feeding. Actually, we never used to feed at the sitting room. In our house, we used to have a small room somewhere, because Precious would spit all over. Feeding would be, I go feed her, and then I change clothes and change her and wash the room. because of spitting. You know, she doesn't want to eat. Yeah, and it's not her fault. The condition itself, even swallowing, it's hard. And up to now, she can't eat the normal food. She can't eat ugali as such. She can't eat rice. You know, her food is like soft food, like you know, for weaning. You have to make the food very, even if it's fruits, you just have to mash them totally. Yeah, and within God, over the time, she have overcome that challenge of feeding. Though there are seasons where she doesn't really want to feed, the challenge is she has to eat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is a tough journey, Bishop. It has not been easy, but I really thank God for my wife, because she took this role with all her strength and with all the enthusiasm and the love that this baby deserves. Because I can tell you, Bishop, it takes 1 hour to feed this baby.
Wow.
1 whole hour, even more.
Half. Between an hour and a half.
And a half.
Feeding,
seated.
And she's not seated by her own. I'm holding her.
Because she doesn't.
Position.
To feed her, to avoid choking. Yeah. So it's a tough journey. But we thank God. God has been gracious. And we have seen God faithfulness and God providence, because you can see she is 7 years and still using diapers, medication, therapy. It has not been easy, but through it all we thank God, because God has seen us through. And the prayer that you really make for us here, Bishop, go a long way to address such things, even people without people knowing. Another thing, Bishop, I would also like to mention, it's like for 4 years also. 4 years she has not been coming to church. Okay, we used to come and stay in that room for nursing mothers. But as she got the sound used to distract her so much. The sound, the speakers,
and she would cry.
She would cry all through.
And cause other babies to cry.
To cry in that room.
And make the other mothers to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So we decided let her be taken care of at home.
And follow online services. Yeah.
But it reached a point, one of the Sundays after the service, we used to come with the kids. People used to see me with the kids. But to some extent, people could not ask me, why is Mama Watoto? So one day she told me, imefika mahali mi sijui Sunday na Monday ni gani. So that thing really hit me so much. And in that moment, God gave me some insight, some revelation. And I told her immediately, you know what we'll do? Next Sunday, I'll not go to church. You go with the kids. And after that Sunday, she thought we would alternate. I told her, even the next one, go for. So she went like 3 services. So since then, now I can see she's a bit lively. There's a time you told me you have never been into the church when
on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day.
Ever since Precious was born.
Precious was born.
Yeah,
so
and it happens. It's on Sundays, and I'm never there.
You're never there. So those are the challenges that came along. But we thank God, Bishop. God has been gracious. Even the family support, both on her side, on my side, they have been very supportive. And friends. And it reached a point. She even joined some group. There are some groups for such cases, supportive group. So as you are able to interact with the people who have such challenges.
Okay.
And the work has been good now due to that interaction, and we thank God. Though it has not been easy, but we bless the Lord.
Wow.
Yes, Bishop.
You know, many parents, or there are parents who, when they get a child with special needs, they don't want to expose the child. They will want to hide. When the visitors come, they run to the bedroom and dump the child. What made you overcome that?
You know what happened? Generally, we are people that love kids. Yeah, we love kids. Me and my husband is also. He really loves, being that, the challenge of being alone also. It creates him to have a very big heart for kids. And also, I love kids. So, for Precious, she's our baby. Despite that she has challenges, but she's our baby. So we took the challenge as it's ours, and we'll not hide it. We'll not hide her because we love her and she's ours. And for us to have her, we usually say there's nothing that gets God by a surprise. He foreknew this, but us we didn't know, because what we say, if God wanted to prevent this situation to happen, he would have prevented. That one is for sure. Yeah. But he allowed it to happen. So what I used to ask myself, why did he allow this to happen? It is very hard. There was a time I used to tell my husband, I think these babies are supposed to be born in a very rich family. It's not that we are poor, it's not that we are poor, but the Bible says you confess, then the sick say they are healed, then the poor say they are rich. So, but the needs are very high. Yeah. Precious takes medication. She's under Pampers. You can imagine the last 7 years, and her food is different. When I make family food, I have to make her special food, and that is daily, So her expenses are very high, just raising her. But we decided to accept her, just the way she is, and we decided we will not hide her. Just because we love our babies. Why should we hate Precious? Because of her condition, no.
We even go out, with her. We go to places. And we have never kept her in the confines of whatever. We are free. We walk around. Even our kids took her, normally keep her in the wheelchair and walks around the court. We don't. That one we made a decision that we'll never hide our baby, because it's a blessing. And we also good to mention, before it sleeps, I used to call her after her mother. But it reached a point I told my wife, let's give this baby a different name, not because of anything. And we had to consult our mom, her mother now, on that, because when a mother hears the name has been changed, it could have brought some issues. But our mother was very good. She said, kama mnamuita Keradhimo.
Yeah, blessing, meaning blessing.
Hata si tumebarikiwa. Aitwa hivyo. So that's how the name came, Bishop. Precious blessing. But initially she was Nyambura.
And that we decided, because of the challenge, we want every time we call her, it has a good meaning. You feel good. Actually, when people hear like, what is her name? Precious blessing. People say, wow, wow, that's what we wanted. Something that when you call her, it has a good meaning. And she's a blessing. You accept her as a blessing. Wow. And also the other thing, her siblings, they really love her. In our house, people call it special seat or a wheelchair, but in our house it's called a Mercedes. When it came first, long time before Precious even could start using this, I wasn't prepared for it. But my husband, I think he could see far. Or me, it is still, I still have faith, but I used to have that of Precious, sit on a on a wheelchair. But my husband used to tell me, I think he could go ahead and tell me, if it happens, you be prepared. If it happens, it's okay. If the Lord will help her to walk, it's okay. But just be prepared, have open mind, So when this happened, it happened that now she's big. But then we took time before I accepted Precious could sit on a wheelchair. But now when it happened that it was a time for her to sit on it, it was a challenge, but we just accepted. And so when I took it home, we got it somewhere in Donholm. It's called CPSK for therapy for children with challenges, where she used to go for a session. So when we went home, the siblings were like, no, this one is a Mercedes. This one is a Mercedes for Precious. And I'm telling you, all the friends, everyone who comes home, they know this is a Mercedes. We call it, like when it's in the bedroom, somewhere, usually we say, go fetch the Mercedes for Precious, bring it here.
Wow. I also have love for Mercedes. I know I'll acquire one very soon. And now being the year of great catch, I know it's being released from somewhere. I write those German machine. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, we bless the Lord. Amen. So what would you like to, is there a word you would like to give to the parents who have children with special needs?
Precious. I would want to encourage any parent out there with a special needs baby, a baby like Precious or any other challenge. I would want to encourage you and tell you to love your baby, just the way your baby is, because that baby is a blessing. And God knew it even before you got that baby. God knew the condition is coming, the situation is coming, and what you are supposed to do is just accept. Accept your baby is like that. Accept the challenge and move on. Pray, trust God for the courage, for the provision. I know it's expensive. We have an experience from everything, from drugs, to food, to pampers, to the gadgets that they use, but God provides. So love your baby just the way the baby is. Assume the bad words from people, any kind of discouragement, just assume it and move on. Love your baby the way your baby is, and accept that baby is a blessing. Because as for me, from the time that I accepted Precious is like this, and she's like this, and we decided to move on, our lives became easy. I stopped crying. Initially, I really used to cry all over, I would really feel for her. But the moment I accepted she's like this, and she's like this until when God will want. If God wishes for Precious to wake up, it will happen. If he decides Precious to stay like this, it's okay. I accept it. But one thing that we know as a family is that Precious is a blessing, and also you accept your baby just the way your baby is, and God will help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe there are some parents there who would like to contact you and get in touch with you and have some fellowship and maybe do some benchmarking. Would you want to give them your number?
Okay. For me, I do CP. CP is Cerebral Palsy Awareness. On FB, you'll find me, Blessings Bonnie. You'll find me, I really talk about it. You'll find Precious there, you'll find her with her stories. And from there, we can communicate. You can inbox me, and then you can communicate. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Well, Boniface, thank you so much for coming. And Mama Precious, and Precious, thank you so much for coming. We pray that the Lord will bless you, and that your story is going to be a blessing to somebody and to some family somewhere. It's going to lift up somebody's heart. I trust that you have received something from Boniface and Caro. It's been a tremendous time, a great testimony. I pray that you would get in touch with them. Just in case you have a special needs baby, get in touch with them and see what you can do to be able to help other parents who may be going through the same situation. Otherwise, we want to say thank you so much. Please send a comment and tell us what you have received and what you have captured. May the Lord richly bless you. This is your pastor and your friend for a long time, Bishop Karaoke, coming to you through Open Talk. You talk or I talk, or we hear one another. And tonight we've been talking. We have been talking with the Mr. and Mrs. Boniface, and we want to say thank you so much for coming to our studio and to this program. May the Lord richly bless you. My viewers, thank you. God bless you. Ciao, ciao. We'll see you this coming Wednesday by the grace of God. Amen.